Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a beautiful afternoon here in the UK in the grounds of the magnificent Blenheim Palace ahead of Salon Prive, where making its debut is the world's first and only super quad bike, the Engler Superquad. We're going to take it out of the trailer in a moment, and then I'm going to experience a short little drive, or maybe I should say ride, on the Superquad to see what it's like. To give you some numbers before we go through it in detail, the Superquad has a 5.2 litre V10 which can be twin turbocharged to 1,100 horsepower. It is also made heavily from carbon fibre, so it weighs just 1,100 kilos. Yes, the mythical 1:1 power to weight ratio, and it's a quad bike. We're going to take it on out then, have a good look around the prototype here, the only one in the world, before experiencing it myself. First things first, we need to get this unloaded, so let's take a listen to the Engler Superquad being started. That sounds good. So the prototype has the naturally aspirated V10, but let me come round towards the front because we're going to get this unloaded out into the beautiful afternoon sunshine and see it here on the lawn. This is looking amazing, being driven by Victor Engler, the man behind the Superquad. Check this out, the bright paintwork in the sunshine. It seats too. This is looking cool. This is looking really cool. Obviously, the mid-engine layout, you could say it is officially a car with the engine behind, the 5.2 litre NA V10 in this, all from carbon fibre. Obviously, the steps to climb on. You might notice a few similarities. It borrows the underpinnings from the Audi R8, which of course is shared with the Lamborghini Huracan, that engine, the four-wheel drive system, the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, the headlights as well, which are positioned to make it even more aggressive visually. But this is actually the prototype. There are a few changes for the production car, but this is something totally unusual. Effectively, a 200-mile-an-hour quad bike that can accelerate ludicrously fast, available in multiple configurations, the naturally aspirated or the twin turbo, to go up to that 1:1 power to weight ratio. Obviously, the car that we're looking at here is in the bright luminescent yellow green, you could say, with the exposed blue visual carbon around. The wheels dual tone painted to match. We've got the carbon ceramics. It's kind of a mix of motorbike. The controls are motorbike style, you know, twist for the throttle, your brake, as opposed to the more traditional car style, but a quad bike, something unique, something completely new to the market, something unseen before. Come around and have a look at the design, the central exhaust, obviously visually very aggressive, as you would expect, because, well, they're only going to be making 10 of them per year. The first year or two's allocations are spoken for. You could do, for example, full visual carbon fibre, gold accents, all sorts of different options. The logo down at the front has a mixture of a horse, as you can see, with the S shape as well. Obviously the grills for cooling. There's a central display screen for the driver for the information. This is quite an unusual thing. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this? It's making its debut here at Salon Prive, but I think in a second, I'm going to be allowed to jump on for a short little drive ahead of the car actually being shown. We're going to have a quick demonstration then of how this works by Victor, because I think it's a bit of an unusual thing, but I mean it's simple, right? Just rotate and go.
Yes, very simple.
Let's see. I mean, just like that. For some reason that is logical, that does make sense. But obviously, being a prototype, you can hear a little bit of the anger from that engine sound. This is really crazy that they managed to make this. It's been 3 years in the works. So I'm gonna need a little bit of tuition almost. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds pretty nice. There's something unusual though about revving up a car V10 with a motorbike setup. But it works perfectly. Okay then, here I am sitting on top of the Engler Superquad. You drive this with the brake, and then we're in park at the moment. If I then pop it into drive, then releasing the brake, we will have some creep. Twist of the throttle, there we go. This will take some getting used to. Remember that this can do the 0 to 100 km/h sprint, 62 miles per hour, in 2.5 seconds, and onto a top speed of 350 km/h. That's 217 miles per hour. This being the prototype means I need to be extraordinarily careful but this is quite surreal. Small movements, just tiny movements on the throttle. And I can tell that we're going to have a lot of power, but obviously prototype going into the show just over beside me means that we need to take this extremely carefully because, well, there's only one of them and it's heading inside. But this is definitely something to get a little bit used to. You can hear the auto gearbox doing its thing, but this is a completely unique idea that Victor came up with and has created in this, the Superquad, and I would love to absolutely hammer it. But of course, at the moment, I have no helmet on, and we're at the event. So into neutral is like this, and then park like that, and then you can rev it up, okay, with the brake then into drive, and then you start driving again. And then this is where you'd put your foot down. I'm not going to because it's a little bit rough here, and we need to be careful. But yes, I get the feeling that this is a lot of power available and it would have no qualms in using it and really making you hold on. I think I just need to press back into drive. There we go. This is really crazy. Obviously familiar controls in a way, but everything pretty different in the way you actually operate and use it. This is really strange. Totally surreal. And yes, I'm driving really slowly, I know guys, but I mean, it's not every day you get the invitation to drive a near-on priceless prototype of something totally unique and insane like this. Now, I'm getting a little bit familiar with it. Of course, in the fields here and surrounded by dusty dirt tracks, we're not going to be getting the foot down. But the interesting thing is this actually counts as a car. This is a car as opposed to a bike, and obviously different rules, different licenses, different things in different countries. These are going to be built and assembled here in the UK, between the UK and Slovakia, but they're actually designed, engineered here in the UK, so it makes sense to have the launch actually here at Salon Prive. This is just, it's really quite cool actually. I'm just thinking what this would be like going at the potential ridiculous speed of, you know, driving this at 350 kilometers an hour. There is an optional seatbelt as well, which would automatically release if required, which will be added. And obviously you'd want to be wearing all of the gear, kind of akin to driving obviously on a bike. It's that type of thing, just for me. This is fantastic. I mean, I'm going, I don't know exactly how fast, but what, 10, 15 miles per hour? Imagine driving this at speed. Imagine the fun you could have doing some massive four-wheel donuts or something like that. And then when you come to a stop, back on the brake, back onto P, and then of course, cool. Just plain cool. An exciting thing, a crazy thing, an unusual thing. Awesome experience.
With the Superquad now parked back up, Victor was just going to quickly show us what the suspension can do when you drop it right down, the air suspension that allows it to sit right down towards the ground. Of course, with the bumps that we have on the grass here, that would not be ideal, but I tell you what, Victor, that's pretty special.
Thank you, thank you.
It must be really quite something to see your dream and imagination now finally ready for an event after this year. I mean, you probably had big plans which have all had to completely change.
We had, like, this year was supposed to be our show year. We were supposed to be everywhere where supercars go, and this is like first show this year, which is really happening, so we are so happy to be here.
For sure, it's absolutely fantastic. And what a unique idea, really. I don't know how better to describe it, that you said, let's make a quad that can go 200 miles an hour. Where did that come from?
As a childish dream, I always wanted to make fast cars, but I always wanted to make something which is unique, which is one-off. And, you know, easy is boring. We don't want to be boring, so this was the idea. There is nothing like it in the world, and it's hard to change, to bring something new in the automotive industry.
That is true.
And we created our own category, so I think it's quite success.
Yeah, you're absolutely bang on the money with that. There are, when it comes to supercars or bespoke, crazy, wild supercars, hypercars, even bikes as well, like you said, there's something in every category already.
It is, exactly. Yeah.
But nobody had previously made something like this at all. I mean, well, I can certainly tell you it's a unique driving experience for me. I've not...
You're the only one, except of me, who was ever driving it.
Wow, well thank you very much for that honour.
Welcome. Pleasure.
That's a true privilege. And it's going to be obviously inside a little bit later on at Salon Prive on show during the event. I'm still just trying to take it in, really. I'm just trying to get my head around how this works and what it must be like. And I guess it won't be too long until you have the full production spec ready and able to drive them at decent pace.
We will have, we're already working on the customers' vehicles,
Okay.
which should be ready beginning of next year. We're also building one more for us to do more tests,
Okay.
because it's like a pre-production prototype. A few things will be changed. So early next year, we're gonna meet again.
Definitely we are.
Drive on the road.
I cannot wait. Of course, with this, being safe and careful with it ahead of an event is always the name of the game. You never want to risk anything happening to something this special. And another thing I have just noticed as well is that you have the different wheels on each side.
Yes.
The demonstration.
This particular vehicle was meant to go, we were supposed to go to Geneva.
Yeah.
And we had a turntable. So you're supposed to turn, so every time you see it with the different wheels.
Makes sense, makes sense. Good way to show the different options that you can do for customers as well. I mean, presumably when it comes to the specifications and the way that you'll create them, you'll offer carbon, different paint colours, different leathers.
Exactly. Yeah, like for example, logos on the wheels you see are from the real gold.
Yeah, okay.
And we have a customer who ordered more gold accessory for the car. Exhaust is titanium. We have a customer who wants exhaust from gold, for example.
Okay.
So it's completely, we will make it to customers' wishes, whatever. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I presume there are going to be some customers having a lot of fun with their Superquads.
Surely they will. It is really fun to drive. It's nothing like it's like nothing else.
Yeah, well, literally.
You can't compare it to bike. You can't compare it to car.
No.
You can't compare it to anything.
I mean,
You experience it.
I feel like the closest thing you can compare it to is a normal quad bike, but significantly more powerful. I mean, when I'm driving it just now, it's the smallest of throttle turns, and that's it. You feel like if you turn it all the way, I should do it that way, you feel like there's going to be a massive amount of power available. I would say underfoot, but it's not underfoot. Your feet aren't in charge of the game with this. Epic. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to experience it, and
thank you very much.
Congratulations on having it here in the grounds of Blenheim Palace for Salon Prive.
Thank you very much.
As we've mentioned a few times, this being a prototype means a couple of things are going to change. For example, there'll be a glass cover over the engine bay. The design of the side pods, of course for the cooling, will be slightly changed. At the front, the central binnacle will come down towards the nose as opposed to having that lower vented area, and there'll be some small changes as well to the headlights, the angle and positioning of them. The side canards will be replaced by a new aero piece around at the edges, but just look, it sits right down to the ground when you put it in this mode. Obviously we are sitting out on the grass as well, which does help with that ever so slightly for the show mode, you could say, for showing it off. But imagine how much fun this would be out on, let's say, private land somewhere where you could really put your foot down. I've got to stop saying put your foot down, where you could really dial up the throttle and have some fun with it.
The afternoon is quickly flying by, but what a location here in the grounds of Blenheim Palace, one of the most famous palaces here in the UK, the spectacular scenery all around us, and of course, a first opportunity to experience the Engler Superquad. A huge thanks to Victor and the team for the opportunity to try it out, a unique opportunity ahead of the full production cars to come in the future, but being based on the underpinnings as it is, with this V10 engine, with the four-wheel drive setup, the dual clutch gearbox, this is just something totally crazy, totally unique, totally different, and an amazing thing to have experienced today. I just can't wait to get a feel for what this is like when you drive it a little bit more in anger, out in perhaps the right location as opposed to the bumpy car park that we have here. But what a crazy thing. I mean, just look at it in the sunshine, clearly attracting all of the bugs right now as well in the low, warm afternoon sunshine, but amazing. It's going to be here inside Salon Prive. I think it's time now to take it on in before they close the doors for the evening, but fantastic. Big thanks to Engler, big thanks to Victor as well, and like I said, to everyone for the opportunity to just take a quick look at it and get a feel for what this is like. I'll pop all the links down below if you'd like to see more of the progress and to see, of course, the final production version as well of the car that's going to be here at Salon Prive. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. That is it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.